Yeah, hello CPC folks. Here's a little demo video explaining how to use the Speak&SID CPC sound card for MIDI input, turning the CPC into a SID or AY or SpeakJet based MIDI synthesizer, right? So you can connect over the MIDI breakout port here, right? Over the Speak&SID UART, the serial interface. You can connect your synthesizer, right, and then send MIDI data, or you can hook up a sequencer, an external sequencer, and either use CPC's internal sound chip, right, in the mix, or what I'm going to show you here, the SpeakJet speech synthesizer, right? So if you want to have speech utterances sequenced or part of your MIDI production. So there are various ways of doing this. So the easiest one is basically to grab the Speak&SID demo disc, right, which I have here, and use one of the demo programs. So that way we would actually use the Speak&SID UART, its own serial port, directly connected to the MIDI breakout board, right, and then just use one of those demo programs. For example, here is the synth program. You find this Speak&SID disc on the GitHub, right, for Speak&SID, and that way you don't need anything else than basically Speak&SID and the CPC, and of course the MIDI breakout board and your synthesizer, right? Press the key to start, and now basically everything I'm playing, MIDI note on notes, are being played by the CPC AY, so it's polyphonic, right? 3-voice polyphonic. But you also hear that it's also played by the SID in parallel, so, and it's a little bit different tune, right? It's a little bit detuned in comparison to the AY, and I guess one could change the program to adjust for this, basically, add 1 or 2 cycles basically to the frequency. And so yeah, that is this program, and so there certainly needs to be more work done on the SID part. So the SID part is currently only monophonic, right? And you can hear it here. So the slow envelope is from the CPC, but the sound that comes immediately is from the SID. So that's the easiest way basically of turning your CPC and with Speak&SID into a MIDI synthesizer, right? You can press X here, and so for this it's a Maxim assembler program. So I have a ROM card here, the Flash Gordon ROM card from Pycotronic, right? And so I have the Maxim assembler there. You can see the code, and you can change it in any way you like. I think it currently only reacts to MIDI note on messages. It stores the velocity as well, and the note, of course, right, the pitch, and it listens, I think, to channel 1 or so. And of course you could change this so that the SID would be on a different MIDI channel than the CPC's AY sound chip, and so on, right? So do with that what you want, right? So well, so good. But suppose you wanted to use the SpeakJet, right, and play this one over MIDI. So okay, so why not, right? For example, if you want to control the SpeakJet synthesizer and its phonemes in the mix using the CPC without MIDI, then you can just write a simple program, right, and just send the speech, the bytes basically for the different phonemes over the port, and you can turn this into a, whatever you want to do with this, right? But so that works. The only problem is, suppose you wanted to play the SpeakJet speech chip now over MIDI, right? Then this doesn't work. So the problem is that MIDI requires a different baud rate than the SpeakJet. So the SpeakJet chip is also connected to the microcontroller here over the serial port, over the UART, right? And they have incompatible baud settings. So unfortunately this makes it impossible to use the same UART on the same microcontroller to receive MIDI data, which is a very high baud rate, right, and transmit this then to the SpeakJet for utterance, right? So unfortunately that doesn't work. So but what else can we do? And there is a solution. So rather than using the UART, the serial port on board of the Speak and SID card, right, we can use the USIfAC, the universal serial interface for the CPC, right? So I have that here, and then I have a different, the same MIDI breakout board already connected here, right? And so we can use this, and let me plug that in to the backplane expander here, and then let's connect the synthesizer to this one. That way the plan is now that the MIDI input goes into the USIfAC, right? And from there we read the MIDI data and send it to the SpeakJet on the Speak and SID card for utterance, right? And let's see how that goes. So unfortunately one issue is that Speak and SID and USIfAC both require reading from ports, and the ports overlap, right? So you cannot do this with a standard Speak and SID card. You need to mod it, and the mod basically involves making sure that read requests to certain ports don't go to the Speak and SID card, so but only to the USIfAC, right? And I already put a switch in here, right? So basically I can disable now I/O read port requests, and that way we can use both cards in parallel. And let me show you the demo program. So this is also on the Speak and SID GitHub repository. There is a directory under CPC USIfAC, and there is a disk image called new USI. And oops. So that just crashed, but there it is. And you see there are a couple of demo programs. So what I'm going to show you is Jet Syn, right? So the idea here is basically only play the SpeakJet chip over MIDI. Okay, let's see how that goes. So again, I have my MIDI keyboard, and you hear that. And you can also see the MIDI data, right, as it arrives, but yeah, and do with that what you want, right? But a customer requested it because he wants to make music with his SpeakJet, right? In that way over MIDI and controlled by a sequencer. So you can do this, right? And I have prepared a modded Speak and SID card for this customer, right? So you can do that. And so note that if I turn off this switch here, right? So this is standard Speak and SID setting, then it doesn't work anymore because the read requests now don't get through, right? They actually get the USIfAC read requests go to Speak and SID, and they shouldn't. So I turn back the switch in the modded position, then it's working again, right? All right. So so much for that. If you want to do this, then you can find modding instructions on the GitHub. And I guess I have to reset this here. And of course you can also, in the same way as we played the CPC AY sound chip over MIDI in using Speak and SID's own UART, right? You can also play the CPC AY chip over USIfAC's UART and the MIDI port, right? So there's a second program here, Jet AY Synth. Let's also load this. And now we should hear the SpeakJet as well as the AY chip in parallel. Works. Okay. And actually I think I should reset this one more time because that didn't sound quite right. Try that again. You get the idea. Okay, so for this you obviously need something like a backplane extender that can host a lot of cards, right? Speak&SID and USIfAC and the ROM, and then DDI3 as my disk emulator. And so just a quick look how the card needs to be modded, right? And so this is basically the modded Speak&SID card, and you see here's the switch, right? This one here. And on the back, you know, there are a couple of cuts that need to be made, and then botch wires, right? So basically this wire is interrupting the I/O read request from the CPC, and it goes to that switch here and then into the microcontroller, right? So I can either basically connect the I/O read request line to the microcontroller, or I can disable it, right, by pulling it up to 5 volts, right, so it doesn't get read, and that way the card won't react to I/O read requests. Alright, so yeah, I guess that's what I wanted to share with you, and yeah, have fun with that. See you guys.